Okay, well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, friends, and also Mr. Today we are from the 8th group. I am Indra Febriana and also my friend Shenda would like to present about our material today. It is about visual layout and also design and the writing instructions for the language learning activities. For the first material about visual layout and also design will be presented by me. And the second material about writing instruction for the language learning activities will be presented by Chenda. Okay, we come for the first material. It is about layout, visual, and also design. According to the Prussia, the process of material development based on the testimonials from various established writers. Some readers may think that visual layout and also design are specialized areas that should be best left to the professional materials developers or publishers. But other think that matter mainly in teaching young learner. It means that visual layout and also design will affect the material that will be produced by the developer or publisher. And then the next is how and why we use the visual layout and also design. As we know in teaching, yeah, the teacher need something new, something interesting in the teaching process so that a visual layout and also design of the material development will help teacher to achieve the goal of the learning process. But differs depending on our roles in material development and use it will give some good effect. Such for the publisher, it will increase the sales. For the teacher, it will aid them with a maximum effect in the teaching. And the last is visual layout and also design will help all those that involved in the material development would critically evaluate in the using them. The first is about visual. As we know, in the teaching process, yeah, the teacher, will firstly make something interest to attract student attention in the learning process. So kind of visual can be a media for the I mean that a good visual can be a media for the teacher to attract the student attention. There are some kinds of the visual that can be found in published materials such as photos, drawings, paintings, cartoons, and other. And the example of simplified figures like matchstick figures, cut art figures, and also silhouettes. Yeah, and for the college, such as photograph, a piece of paper or fabric in a single frame. And for the mock documents such as letter, book cover, newspaper, and another is about the conceptual drawings like graphs, cards, map, and diagrams. And for the functional illustrations, such as word arts, icons, arrow, or speech text the bubbles. These kinds of the all of the visual will work well with the children's or for the young learners. And why? Why do we need to a visual in the material development? It is because the first, yeah, visual will provide a visual explanation or description for something unfamiliar for the learners. For example, if we explain something and we show the student about the pictures, they will know the real thing that the teacher explained. The second one is to provide context, such as the character introduction in the detective story, setting the mood, and also tone. And the third one is show the procedure, how. For example, like how to play a new game. So the visual will be effective to show the procedures in the learning process. And the fourth one is that induce effective responsive, such as curiosity, interest, and also lower. And the fifth one is the provokes thoughts and reactions, such finding plausible reasons for a mystery, for and against an issue. And the sixth one is provide a visual summary and achieve consistency and mark a change and also provide an aesthetic experience. There are some characteristics of visual that always there in the material developments, such as two kinds of visual, photos and drawing, reality and authenticity, imagination, empathy, and highlighting features, drawing such as illustrate and interact, artistic style, strength and weakness of visual characteristic, and also appropriate material for objective and also context. Uh, there are some extent of the visual, such as varied for others, attractiveness of the visual, achieve the impact in attracting learners' attentions, useful for language acquisition, make connection with the real world, understand the new experience, and also create mental representation. Why do we need some extent of this visual? It is a help teacher to determine whether the visual is good or not to achieve the objective of the learning, like the variant from others. It is attractive or not, and then it is will achieve the impact in attracting learners' attention or not. And like another is like it is useful for language acquisition or not, and will the visual make a connection with the real world or not, and will the visual will make the student understand new experience. Something like this will be a consideration for the teacher to determine whether the visual is good to achieve the objective or not. And then the second one is about layout. Layout is the structural arrangement of the parts, such as text and also visual. The power of layout when shocked or provoked by poster or advertisement in media. Uh, why we need a good layout in the material development? For the first is because a good layout will attract attention, and also it will provide focus for in the learning process, and it will help the sequence smoothly, and then it will also separate aesthetic response, give consistent structure, and also provide impact in the learning process. But there are some factors that will affect the layout, such as the position, the size, the sequence, whether it is to bottom, left to right, and also the space, the balance of the text and the visual, the separation, and also the repetition of certain elements. And the last is about design. What is design? Design is the overall plan of appearance and function of material, such as the size, weight, cover, printing page, and others. Material with a good design will be appealing, aesthetic, impactful, functionally clear, convenient, and also cost-effective. And also, good design, it will also help teachers and the writers to achieve the objective of the learning, stimulate in the learning process, to gain the credibility, to be a consistent material, and also control tones and mood of the students. And appearance, yeah, and in appearance, there are some consideration here. The first is the level of covering of interest, and the second one is the level of covering of appealing, and the third one is attract learners of all the backgrounds and the cultures. The fourth one is material retain visual interest. The fifth one is material retain visual appeal, and the last one, material give the appearance up to date. And the second one is the functionality, about the design. The first is the level of the design will provide a consistency. And also, design will also provide a variety and consistency in the use design features such as icons, heading and labels, and the last one is the portability of the material itself. And how to analyze visual layout and also design in this example. Everyone to positive, we want to positive visual layout and also design. It can be found in the features. For the content list, such as vocab, reading, and grammar, we can analyze the content by the vocab, reading, and also grammar. For the photos, so we can analyze whether the photos or the pictures that used in the material is this in different generation for the different activities and other, and also color grading, where whether the color for the man with woman, set expression and other, and also visual decoration. And the next is about the layout. For the layout, we can see from the how to read, listen, summarize, extract, and compare in the material itself. And the last one is interactions, descriptions, and also the recommendations. There are some issues in using visual layout and also design. The first is who ensure valid and effective use of visual layout design for effective language acquisition and development. Uh, it is related to the different concern and also target, the collaboration and agreement among the material writers, developers, the editor, and also publishers. And it also the non-educational reasons such as the copyright, budget, market, time constraint, and then the unequal ability on the visualization, remembering, connecting, visual redundancy, and the digital revolution. And the second one is visual imprint and visualization in our minds. It is about the distinctions of printed material in input and multidimensional representations such text in mind, intake, and also mental representation of the main character in the novel, and also the information that stores in the various memory systems, like a positive representation versus negative representations, and also the communicative values and also visual. And the third one is the outward appearance of the or the inward significance. It is related to the teacher reluctance toward the material adaptation. Because adapted material motivates actual language learning and adapt based on the educational control of the visual layout and design, or even the develop of the material itself. Here, there are some principle and also procedure of the visual layout and also design that we recommended. The first is when writing material for the materials writers and publishers. For example, the explained objective, cost, and validity. For the teacher, the principle is about the personality, experience, confidence, motivation, creativity, recommendation, and also inspiration. The next principle is visual layout and also design should collect impactful visual. And the third one is it should invite colleagues that will share the visual. The next one is the visual availability. The next one is the objective of the activities. Because of why? Because the objective is the important part, yeah, in the learning process that will be achieved. So the objective of the activities be one of the principle and also procedure of the visual layout and also design that were recommended, and in incorporate engaging and also when and how do we to use the visual itself, and the use of the material itself. Okay, for the next material will be explained by my friend Chenda. Chenda, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Shane, for giving me chance to give the presentation here. Yes, good morning, Pa, and good morning, friends. So my responsibility is for chapter 14, writing instruction for language learning activity. We know that it it is very important. I mean, the instruction is very important for both teacher and student in order to understand or to be clearly understand all the structure or instruction in the material that we use, and that students are able to make it easy for them, them both teacher and student. Teacher have to be clear in explanation or in explaining the instruction to the student. However, the students themselves may not listen to the teacher instruction because of the unclear or misunderstanding of the instruction in the classroom. It will for the student or it will for the classroom environment for immediately. We teacher have to know that in order to make the clarification or make a clear instruction, we have to revise or renew our instruction based on the language learning, which is much our student level. And it's easy to make them understand what they are going to do or what they are going what they are asked to do. As we know that we have different level in our class of students. So different students may do activity differently, even those giving feedback or get the way they get the feedback, as well as teacher observation during the practice. So teacher observation during the practice, as well as he or she need to be clarify all the instruction, and he or she have to observe that his or her instruction is clear enough for the student in each stage of activity. So let's move on. Okay. However, giving instruction, we face some issue in writing and giving instruction as well. We know that teaching a language or learning a language is very important, and it's relevant to the instruction as well as doing the activity which is related to the language activity. So the language should be used for writing and giving instruction. Example like written language as first language in the textbook. The translation in the instruction must be clear. Example, we teach English. When we give the instruction, we have to be clear that what it really mean in the first language of the second language. And in the writing and giving instruction also facilitate the acquisition of the language. It really helps the student to acquire a new language, to acquire the new activity. If we facilitate them with a clear and bold instruction, the situation of the feedback given are also much and really acceptable for the student. Also, repeat oral or written. This means that don't need to use your instruction again and again. Make sure that your instruction is clear enough. It's right in the bowl, which is the main point that they have to be focused on. Or by giving an example for each statement or for each stage of the task or of the activity that we teacher need to understand that. This will help students understand what they are going to do in the each stage. So let's move on. Okay. So let's see that. Should instruction be simplified? Yeah, for sure. It should be simplified. It should provide it as simple as possible. So the set evidence for the providing the example, the teacher should be careful when illustrating, when showing the instruction. He or she need to be careful because similar instruction lead to the problematic exemplification, wrong example in wrong practice. If we give them example, the activity A, we give one instruction, and then activity B, we give one instruction, but really similar. So what should the student do between activity A and B? If we don't simplify it, make it simple and clarify it clearly for the student. So the result, the student will do a wrong practice in a class. Example, the teacher asks students to practice like and dislike. Let's see the example here by asking, do you like baseball? And then another student may say, may be practice like, would you like to? Or I would like to. So this means that we have to give them a good example, clear enough, don't need to repeat it again and again. It may make them feel like bored and interesting in learning, so they will not pay attention to our instruction. Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Okay, let's see the example here. The two examples are different in terms of the use of language. So like in response to the first conversation, we have heard a student laboring through the conversation as the following, like, student A, do you like baseball? No. Do you like football? No. Do you like dancing? Yes. And let's see, move to the second response. We have heard a conversation like the following. Would you like to come to my party? Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And then student A said again, I like you to come to my party. Thank you. And then student A asked again, would you like to come to my party? And then student D said, yes, thank you very much. So this the way that we give the instruction, and then the student can practice and adapt the meaning of our instruction in the real situation. Okay, let's move on. Okay, thank you. So, do you think that the instruction have to be linguistic? Yeah, for sure. Because instruction can help student or learner to acquire the language easily or hardly. It based on the instruction as well. As we teacher, we have to know that what kind of instruction, how to reproduce a word instruction, or like effective instruction that can get the target language that can facilitate the acquisition of the knowledge for the learner or for the student who can produce the input that has to be relevant, the meaningful, significant, comprehensible, and recycle of those language acquisition. After they can get our instruction or they catch up what the meaning of the instruction. So this means that the student can acquire a language. The linguistic related to the language will match the student need. And it also provide the useful outcome of the feedback. Whenever our instruction is clear enough, the student will produce the outcome with a good feedback, and with lengthy and complexity is not really the obstacle anymore. And the student look at the photo instead of the written instruction. It is a kind of instruction that use the drawing example like example in a visual layout and design. It is another instruction that show the student more understanding and what they are going to do than written instruction as well. So let's move on. Okay. So in this section, how can instructions be evaluated? So the way that we can evaluate the instruction can see in the following. The first, we can get or give student with the equivalent age. As you know that the equivalent age need to be equal with the student age and level, and then observe how they carry out the instruction. When we give the instruction to those level of student, we will see that our instruction is work or doesn't work, and we can find out what the cause of the problem. Example, we observe and discuss in the class or after, in, while, and after the class. And then we use those criteria of the evaluation to list down and explain the main criteria of the instruction, that why and how does it work, and why and how it doesn't work effectively in our teaching of language use. And also we can check its sufficiency and the usefulness while and after the class as well with the student. Okay, let's move on. Okay. And we can see that the criteria for writing and giving the instruction. So we have several criteria that we have to focus on in giving and writing instructions. First, like silent stage. So this one, we teacher have to put the instruction in bold or distinctive font, different color in the box. Example, like we give them the instruction, we give the task of student to practice in the class or one in the test, like please choose the correct answer. There are only one answer is in among four, example among four. So we can put only one, the word phrase only one in bold. So this means that the student make to focus that. So only one is the best answer, not two. And the second is separation. State how many different things to do. So we need to separate it clearly, like step A, part A, what the students should do. Part D, what students should do. And then three, sequencing, or we can say it order. Like before we do A, we need to read the instruction clearly. Focus on the instruction clearly. Before doing B, you need to finish the B first. A first, something like that. After that, C and D. And the number 4, staging. Indeed, teacher need to give the stage or receive the first instruction of doing the first activity, receive the second instruction to do the second activity. This one, each stage of the task or of the activity, teacher need to give them step by step, stage by stage. Like for the activity A, teacher give one instruction. After student finish, so they have to go to the stage B. So teacher give another instruction beside A. And fifth, sufficiency. Then he keep the instruction. Teacher, he or she need to keep instruction short and simple as possible as he or she can, because it may lead to not miss sufficient information. Then let's move on. Okay, let's continue to the criteria of written and given instruction again. Like 6, succinctness. Succinctness here refers to that a lot of information in the instruction may lead to confusion or annoyance, negative attitude, or delay. Sometimes in our task or in our activity, we don't need to put a lot of instruction, because many instruction or many information may lead them confused. Sometimes just a lot of information, but we don't know what to do. So it is the problem. It is annoying student. And so when I simplicity, the teacher need to give the instruction that is as simple as possible. Don't try to make it complexity. Don't try to make it so complicated. So make it simple as possible as teacher he or she can. And then unambiguity. This one avoid two or more interpretation. Example, using pronoun, adverbial, or position, coordinators, or synonym. Like then example, we talk about the cow, and then we don't want to do the cow again, and then we put animal, and after that we can say, so what kind of animal, and the kind of animal that we can do anything in the forest, we can eat something else. So just use one word. Don't try to do any synonym or any like coordinator or something else. Just use simple word, simple instruction for the student. Okay, let's move on. Oh. So it brings us to the end of the presentation. So thank you for your listening and attention in watching our video. Yeah, thank you, Pak, and thank you, friend.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Pak. Thank you, friends.
Henry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you, friends, and good morning.